Hey guys, Ash here with another champion guide, this time on Djamarsa, who is a friend referral link exclusive champion. I wanted to give a shout out, a call out, I guess, a request to my humble viewers out there. I would love to get Chronom eventually, so if anybody wants to start a new account, I'm going to drop my friend referral link as a pinned comment on this champion guide. I have Ashhound, who's still going strong at level 43. I need to get a lot of friends to level 50 to get the Chronom fragments. Man, it's so hard to get your hands on Chronom, huh? So I'll link that. I'll put the referral link in this video if anybody wants to give me a hand. Massive shout out to Newbies and to Bront, who are the two who had previously gotten to level 30 to help me get Djamarsa. So big shout out to them. Bront also was kind enough to record a guide for Chronom that I just need to edit. I've been slacking on that. So, stay tuned for that as well. So guys, there it is. That's the friend referral program. Shout out to Ashhound, who's still in the game. A shout out to some of you guys as well. Let me put up the requests here. Man, a lot of requests for Djamarsa here. A lot of them. I'm not going to name you all, but shout out to all of you guys who keep the champion guide requests coming in the comments of all of these videos. A few dozen here for both Djamarsa and for Chronom. Enough of a preamble here. Let's jump into her kit. All right, so she is a barbarian, an epic barbarian at that. Again, this will be a guide for Djamarsa only, obviously. I don't have Chronom. She's a Force Affinity barbarian. She has a cool aesthetic about her. I actually like the vibe here. What do you guys think of the the whole outfit and whatnot? I like it. I like the motif, Djamarsa. It's pretty cool. She's got pretty decent base stats, 105 speed, almost 1100 defense, almost 20k on the HP. She's got a defense in all battles. Aura can certainly be useful in, well, all battles. 20%, good for progression in areas like Doom Tower, in areas like Centranos. Obviously, you can use it anywhere if you don't have a better Aura option. She has a Knight's Finger A1 ability. Oh, I should mention, too, she has a pretty cool lore story if you guys want to go ahead and check out the lore on her. She's an epic support. She's got an A1 that has a 30% booked up to 50 chance of placing a sleep for one turn. If Chronom's on the same team and the sleep wasn't placed, she places a big version of a decreased speed instead for 2 turns, and that can't be blocked. That's really nice to have. Obviously, it does require accuracy. On the A2 Radiant Moon, it's going to heal a target ally 30% of their max HP and fill their turn meters by 30%. If it's used on Chronom, it's going to instantly activate his A2 ability. His A2 ability places the burn, which is nice on each hit, right? So really solid ability, really solid in conjunction, again, in tandem rather, with Chronom. But it is a single target heal. It's not the most powerful ability in the world without Chronom on your team. It's a nice little single target heal and turn meter. Really nothing to write home about, even in the early game, which you can get her in the early game. It's not enough for me to be your main healer or turn meter booster on your team. But you pair her with like a High Katoon or something like that in the early game. They have some nice synergy there, right? Some heals, double turn meter. You get the point. You can actually turn meter boost your turn meter booster who has it on an AoE. Moonlight March, her revive is on a 7-turn cooldown, booked down to 5. It's not a very powerful revive, but it is an AoE revive. So if you're lacking an AoE reviver, especially because you can get her fairly early on if you put the time in, or if you have some friends who you can get by with a little help from, right? In the words of Joe Cocker, we have revived it allies, 30% HP, 30% turn meter. It's just not great. It's not great. But it is it's kind of like a Gorgorab AoE revive. Maybe a little bit worse, but still. Just phasing. This makes her unique on the passive. You can book it down to 0 turns. Whenever an ally uses an active skill, it's a 20% chance of decreasing the cooldown of that skill by 1 turn. That's a really nice ability there. It's kind of some built-in kind of reflex vibes off of her passive. The phasing, for me, is what really brings her from a very underwhelming AoE reviver to a, decent but maybe niche progression AoE reviver, right? So that's it. That's her kit. We talked about basically everything already. Man, that went by fast. So, I'm going to kind of cut to the chase here. The ratings the reviews on her are all great, like great in-game ratings, but it doesn't tell the full story of the champion. I think she is a champion that if you make it a point to get her early on your account, having an AoE reviver early like her, you can slot her right in, right? She can make a big impact in the early game progression of Raid Shadow Legends. So I actually think that for when you can get her, she's a pretty cool option. I tried to use basically the worst gear that I have lying around on my account because I wanted to be somewhat realistic to when you'd probably be investing in this champion. You see that defense going down, 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 down? Do you guys see that? Interesting. So for me, she's certainly not a champion that you're probably going to be using a lot in the end game, but there are a lot of situations where you could use an AoE reviver in the game. We'll talk about her area rankings in just a moment, but here's the build. I put her in a curing set and an immortal set. Listen, the heal is not bad, but it's single target. But, you know, I'm a firm believer. You want to get utility out of your bad sets. Curing's not a great set. It's not trash, but other ways to build her could just be in basic speed gear, basic perception gear, heck, even accuracy gear, right? So I think those are the ways that you want to build her. You could double down on the reflex and go reflex with the phasing. So there's a couple different options for you guys, but I put her in curing here, right? You can put her in regeneration gear. You can put her in immortal gear. The number one thing you need to know about Djamarsa is you want to keep her alive and keep her kind of fast. That's basically it. Put her in relentless gear. But I just not sure if I would waste, quote unquote, my best relentless gear on Djamarsa. Her heretic skin, that's kind of cool, man. How did you, I missed when and where this skin was available. I'll be real with you guys. Even her staff changes. Check it out there and check it out here. Man, she looks so cool in the heretic skin. I like that. I like that even better than the OG. Anyway, what do I have on her here? I have HP survivability on the banner. If you want to land that sleep for Sand Devil progression, I guess, you want to go accuracy on the banner, okay? A good second source of accuracy is going to be on your amulet substats. So I looked for an HP amulet that had some accuracy. Now, that's a lot of accuracy. Odds are beginners aren't going to be able to get 40 accuracy off of their, almost 40 off of their amulet. But we're just trying to shoot for as much as we can there if you want to land the sleep. She has defense on the ring. I like to prioritize HP on my revivers over defense, on my support champions, my healers, my revivers, but that doesn't mean you have to totally neglect defense. I have speed on the boots. It's going to be a must-have. I have HP percentage, ideally on the chest, and then I have defense percentage or HP percentage on the gauntlets. Ideally HP, but defense is fine too. You don't want to totally ignore it. I'm looking for good double speed rolls, maybe a triple speed roll in the rest of the gear. Hey, if you have it, only a 1 speed works too, but we want her fast, right? So she can help and heal and turn meter boost and revive our allies if we need it. So her total stats here are going to be 73k HP, 256 on the speed, and well, you know, the accuracy is not much, 164. Generally, for beginners, you want around 10 points of accuracy per stage of the dungeon that you're encountering, right? Notable here, I also have her empowered +1. I have Faction Guardians bonuses on her as well, and I have my Classic Arena and my Affinity bonuses. So I'm getting certainly a decent amount of extra stats just from my account progression, which you guys should be aware of, right? Okay. I have a Rod of Blasphemy on her, where it receives 2% less damage if under any debuffs. It's really not the best relic out there, but I just wanted to throw a little bit more HP on her, most importantly. I don't even have a charm in it. You know, odds are when you get her, if you're a new player, you're not even going to have a relic, so I don't know. I mean, it's just I threw something on her, but I'm actually thinking let's remove it, just because I don't think it's going to be realistic that you're going to be putting relics on a Djamarsa. But hey, if you have them, go ahead, go for it. Blessing on Djamarsa. I would just go with maybe some Miracle Heal if you're going against any area like a Fire Knight or whatever, or a Sand Devil where you have to restore destroyed HP. So I think that's a good option for her. You could go with, You could go with, I think that's my fave, honestly. I think I'd go Miracle Heal on her. Indomitable Spirit, blocking CC debuffs, maybe my second favorite. Go with some rare blessings there. So those would be my recommendations. Masteries. The cool thing is she's a champion that you can certainly get plenty of utility on without mastering her up. However, and I would recommend, yeah, she wouldn't be your first priority for Masteries. I would actually start using my starting champion Masteries over Djamarsa's Masteries. So I'm not going to spend the 800 gems. I hope you guys don't blame me for it. But I'll show you what I would pick if I did go with Masteries. And I'll show you the Hell Hades as well so you guys can screenshot it or whatever, or better yet, visit the website. I have accuracy on, I would go accuracy pinpoint, accuracy charge focus, accuracy swarm smiter. I would go probably Lore of Steel if I could benefit from it. And then I would go down with Spirit Haste. I would probably go for a tier 6 of either Timely Intervention if I wanted to build her as a reviver, well, obviously she's a reviver either way, but if I wanted to go all out with the protection, you want to get that turn meter when an ally needs it the most for the heal, and then to come back and revive if they die, right? You could go defense with support, and I would go in and I would pick up Cycle of Revenge as well, a chance of increasing your turn meter when an ally is hit with a critical hit, so that really helps as well. That's when we need her to come in and heal. Now, another way to build her would be to try to get a little bit more out of the heal. We don't really need it because we already have a curing set, but you could go with Steadfast, Lay on Hands, Healing Savior, Merciful Aid, and Spirit Haste. Other way that I would go is support with the accuracy. Same thing we just spoke about, right? Go Cycle of Magic, go with Spirit Haste, and then offense tree, I'd go Deadly Precision, I'd go with Keen Strike, I'd go Single Out, I'd go Bring It Down, I'd go Methodical, and I would end with War Master for a little bit of damage against bosses. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at hellhades.com. They rank her a 3.5 out of 5. For progression for the early game, I think that's it's a fair score. I'd put her at like 2.5 out of 5, honestly, when we get to kind of end game content. I think she just tails off a little bit personally in the end game, but you can use her still in some restricted content. You can use her in Cintranos, and you're not going to be disappointed by the turn meter boost, the heal, and the revive, of course. So maybe I misspoke. Maybe she is like a solid but not elite option out there. I think that's a fair way to put it. And that cool passive is nice as well. So her multipliers don't matter. She has a 4 multiplier on her A1, but she's not a damage dealer, right? Where can we use her, though? What do they give her in Hydra? They give her a 4.5 out of 5. Man, Hydra progression. Yeah, absolutely. Outside of that, nah. Sand Devil, 3 out of 5. I hear a lot of this. I got Djamarsa. I'm so excited for Sand Devil. I hate to say this because it feels like everybody disagrees, but I just don't think she's that great for Sand Devil. Reason being is this 30% chance of sleep, or a 50 when booked. There's a campaign farmable champion. You can play them together, by the way. You know, they can. I will show you them together. But Muckstalker, you can get them right from the campaign in the, I want to say it's stage 4 or 5. It's the sewers stage where all the lizard men are, right? You can just get them from campaign. My man has a sleep for 2 turns on a 2-turn cooldown. That's what we want for Sand Devil. We want to just have a sleep specialist, make sure that we can always put the Sand Devil to sleep when the Sand Devil is susceptible to sleep, right? So for me, for my money, I'm going in with Muckstalker, and I'll still use her in Sand Devil. We want a tanky reviver to pick everybody else up, but it's not because of her A1 why I like her in Sand Devil. It's because of her revive as to why I like her in Sand Devil. So let me go ahead and show you guys a couple quick battles here. Compared to some of my more recent guides, obviously, stage 25, think we can handle it? I think we can handle it, right? I have a Dark Elhane, an Apothecary, Bellower, and High Katoon. Hopefully we don't wipe here. I'm not sure if I finish this run in rehearsals. I love Dark Elhane in this dungeon. It's incredible. You can see her on the far right-hand side. She looks really cool, right? Looks really cool. I just love the aesthetic on this champion. And let's see if we can notice that phasing passive proc as well. Keep your eye out for the phasing, which is handy. And you can see that even though it's a 3-turn a phasing right there. So we got a decrease cooldown on High Katoon, right? Which is fantastic. So I really like that phasing. It adds, like I said, adds something to a kit that is pretty simplistic, honestly. So I feel like I've been kind of extra down on this champion. I'm not down on her. I think she's really cool. She phasing procced again. That's just really fun passive. But I think she's a really cool champion, a really helpful champion. I just don't want to give the impression that every champion we review here on the channel is like this some elite all-star. Anyway, you can see a lot of poisons. We have Apothecary in a toxic set if you're curious on why all those poisons are on every enemy. Let me come back to you guys when we get to the Ice Golem, because this is just wave content, but you kind of get a feel for who she is and what she does. All right, guys, here we go against the Ice Golem. You know, we're bound. We are bound to die against the Ice Golem 25, right? We are bound to die. We're going to show off that juicy 5-turn revive, baby. All right, so here we go. Bellower is such a beast. I have the Nature's Bounty blessing on him to upgrade his debuffs to the big version, and man, he's nasty when you do that. So everything's pretty cool here. The other healer on the team, of course, is Apothecary. I like that, you know, it's not bad having another single target healer on the team alongside of her. Usually with 2 single target healers, you can kind of get the job done, right? So far, so good. We lose Bellower. That's cool. That's fine. Going to get that heal right away. That's why we want her fast. We really want her to get those turns. But the built-in kind of reflex helps a little bit too. So not too bad. Radiant Moon comes again. That's a nice heal on Apothecary. It's 30% of their max HP, not her max HP. Make sure you consider that as well. Not ideal. Generally, we prefer heals to be and shields for that matter to be based on the wearer's HP, because that is a number that we can control, right? So she's already back to her heal again to pick up Dark Elhain. So I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm kind of impressed with her. And that's why I think she's actually a solid option for when you get her progression-wise, right? Sure, you might get better revivers. You will get better revivers in time, arbiters and such. But it's nice to have for a lot of players, right? They can be tough to get unless you're starting out with a Tagore download link, right? It can be tough to get your hands on a reviver to begin with. So far, so good. But you guys know how Ice Golem is. At the very end, you can just wipe a Ruski, right? But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Dark Elhain is such a monster. Every time anybody on your team gets frozen, every time she gets frozen, she gives herself buffs instead. It's amazing. Anytime anybody else cleanses it, anytime anybody else gets frozen on your team, she goes in with her AoE, Death's Majesty, A2 ability. Sorry if I'm over-explaining things in this video, some basic concepts, but I figure that a lot of people watching are probably players who are fairly new and just getting their hands on this champion for the first time, and they might not understand every dynamic of the game. Generally, we don't get so granular on the beginning content here, but I would love to hear from you guys too. If you think it's helpful, I'll do more of it in other videos and other guides, right? Sometimes as someone who's been playing this game for, gosh, 6 years now, almost 7 years, geez, you take things for granted, right? Like, just because I know it doesn't mean that every other viewer knows it, because everybody's a beginner at some point, including yours truly. All right, so man, this has been a long battle here, but hey, we're getting the job done. That's all that matters, right? Ultimately, I think that speed runs in this game, most of the situations, they're overrated, right? As long as you have the first thing that you should aim for, speaking of beginner advice in this game, is a 100% successful run. Right? You want to get rid of any RNG you can. You want to err on the side of survivability, because the worst thing you can do in this game is waste your energy. I'd rather have a 5 or 6 minute run that will be successful 100% of the time than a 3-minute run that's successful 70% of the time, because I'm throwing away all that energy and all those artifacts, right? So not bad at all. You can see the healing numbers, pretty solid as well. 779 is a significant single target heal there. So way to go, Djamarsa. All right, let me go ahead and end this with a little, you can run her, by the way, in early game arena as well. You could even use Apothecary to speed boost and use her as a support champion. So you can use her as an arena reviver. Sometimes with the arena, you'll have like a speed booster, and then you'll have a nuker, obviously, right? Speed or a lead. And then sometimes you have kind of a flex spot, especially in progression arena. Should be a good, a good option for a flex position if things go wrong and your champions die. You can pick them right back up, right? Okay, let's go like, I don't know, stage 14. Yeah, sure. Why not? Actually, no. I don't like that affinity. Let's go Let's go 15. Let's go stage 15. So I try again. I put Sun Wukong in there because he's a beast and he can be our DPS along with Cold Heart. But this is a Muckstalker team, right? I'm telling you guys, get your hands on Muckstalker, please. I don't even think I have gear now that I think of it on Sun Wukong. I have some gear, but not fully geared out. But anyway, the cool thing about Sun Wukong is even if he dies, he can just come back to life, even if a revive is on cooldown like it's going to be right now. So we lose Cold Heart. Sun Wukong will revive himself. You can see that Djamarsa herself is very, very low on HP. We can restore our HP. Muckstalker is a very dependable option to keep that Sand Devil asleep, right? And then Apothecary, again, combined with a Djamarsa, is able to make sure, you know, by all means, we need to keep our Reviver alive, right? That's first and foremost. So he's going to do a good job in helping out there. All right. So Cold Heart immediately goes back down. But hey, we still got the damage in Sun Wukong, even though he's not fully geared out. He's still going to get the job done because he's that good of a monkey. We're going to keep going in there. And you see, though, what I'm talking about Muckstalker? It's a 2-turn sleep. It's a 2-turn cooldown. It's 100%. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, right? Her A1 is nice to have. Don't get me wrong. It can come in handy, but it's not dependable enough, at least for my money, to be my only sleep on the team at a 50% clip when booked on an A1. That being said, she's a great reviver and a great backup sleeper for your team, right? So, man, they made it look easy. Maybe we could have tackled the higher level, but hopefully you've enjoyed this guide on Djamarsa. Overall, I think she's a great progression option. She's worth going in and putting the time of leveling up a few accounts to get on your own referral link, using your own link. But guys, let me know what you think of this champion. If you have her already, if you've used her more than I have, because frankly, I've messed around with her a little bit here. She's a pretty simple champion to understand. But if you have different areas that you use her, let me know in the comments below. And please keep the champion guide requests coming as well. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.